Okay.
Marjorie, you matched your toenail polish to your sweater. I love it so much.
That's awesome. Periwinkle.
Did you?
Yes, that's gone. Okay. Is that? Give me a minute. Where's our film crew?
Lights, camera, action.
If I turn on this light, I most of the time I try to turn this light on, people tell me they don't like it, but is it okay?
I'm okay with it.
I mean, if you need to do it for that, yeah.
Not much for that, just for more light. Otherwise, you know what I'll do? I just want you to feel comfortable. Does that feel better?
This is better.
Okay, let me
But
open
if
up
you want to
this.
see, it's okay.
I want to get a little more light here.
Why would
This
we want to do
window.
that? That's helpful.
Okay, perfect. Welcome, everybody. So I want to first say I'm so happy to see everybody. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're at 12, which is great.
Yeah.
So the power of our 12 there's so much power in the 12. There's huge ability for us to do massive work all the time when two more are gathered, of course. However, when we have these bigger groups arrive, we really do affect monadic shifts all around the world because we are holding ourselves together. We're holding ourselves up the mountain and also grounding. So it's a really powerful coming together. And each of us is important. We're this beautiful tapestry coming together. So I'm really honored that you take the time to come. It's like huge.
Mhm.
Do you all get excited about thinking about coming here?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Nice.
absolutely.
I get so excited for Fridays. So I have so many things I want to share, but I was guided to make sure I share things coming up because the center's starting to get busier with events. And I really am glad because we want to have more community gathering together. So just to review, like tonight, Samantha does the sound journeys with me on the first Thursday, but she's doing her own Friday night, 6 to 7. Her voice goes many ranges. She's definitely an ancient shaman. And to be in her presence, bless you, is like that. I mean, you will definitely have huge clearing, just massive realignments. So I highly suggest that. She does sounds like birds and all kinds of animals, as well as just you can make her voice do magical things.
Does she use the crystal bowls also?
She uses the crystal bowls, yeah, flutes, harps, drums,
Yeah.
gongs. I mean, it's magical.
Nuts with seeds in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Welcome. We're gonna have to do, are they a floor seat thing?
Hello.
Hi, Jackie. How are you? Are you on a bar stool or do you want to sit on a cushion?
A cushion's fine. Yeah, a cushion's fine.
Well, what if you,
Or I can sit back there.
what if, yeah,
Yeah. I'll do
let
that.
me give you a bar stool though.
Okay.
Or a seat. No, we'll just call it a seat. It's Here we go, here we go. Here
Oh,
we
it's
go.
perfect.
So now we're going into the 13. You're on time.
I'm on
Great.
time, okay.
You made the grand entrance. Okay. So we have that Friday night, 6 o'clock. We also have Samantha on Mondays at 12:30 doing vocal temple. So she's helping people like really embody your voice, understanding your core tone, and doing some vocal lessons. Powerful. I am starting, as of a few moments ago, Wednesdays, 11 to 12, Rich and Righteous, Spiritual Wealth. We're going to use the Rich and Righteous book and workbook, Rituals, RICH. and it's going to be powerful. I'm going to keep that going because there's a lot to cover on Rich in your royal wealth that you truly be. Other things. Oh, Catriel is not here, but he is starting Wednesday at 6:30 Astrology 101. It's a 5-week class. Anybody's interested in astrology and diving deeper, even if you've taken astrology, he definitely brings his own unique touch to it. So highly suggest that. Okay, let's just tune in. Actually, we got one more. Sunday, Susie is doing Sacred Initiation. So this is a free gathering. If you are a facilitator of any kind, come. It's 10 o'clock to 2, and we're going to go over leading retreats around the world with her new roundtable retreats, and talk about a mock retreat that we're going to lead here in Palm Harbor. So super powerful. There's a lot of people flocking to that. Do you want to say anything about that, Susie?
It should be a magical time. You don't have to be a facilitator necessarily. Support staff is also something we're looking for, assistance. So anybody's called to it, or you know anybody that aligns with it, it's a free sort of info meet and greet, kind of give everybody the outline and let them know what's happening. So it's very exciting. The thing is the invitation is on the website. If anybody wants to look it up and read more. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and tune in to our heart space. Just allow yourself, close your eyes, take some deep breaths. Let your sound be audible on your exhale so you can just really drop in and let go. When we hear each other's exhales, it also helps each other let go. And go ahead and start to illuminate the center of your heart light. Imagine this beautiful blue flame that does not consume. It just is the eternal soul light spark. Let that eternal light spark open and expand with your next few exhales. And as your exhales are expanding this light, imagine your aura, this beautiful soul that you are, you be, is illuminating not only inside the body, but around your body and your aura totality. And because we're close in this room, it might feel like, you know, these orb lights are next to each other. So see if you can kind of notice all the orbs next to each other. Souls coming up together. Sometimes it'll look like it's almost like a flower of life or sacred geometry, because sometimes it feels like those circles are blending. If at any time you feel like you don't necessarily want to blend because you're feeling a lot in the room, just imagine you pull yourself back to midline, and you can take your hands on your thymus gland, your chest, to bring yourself back to your midpoint so that you're just feeling yourself. And so let's add a smile so we can lift our frequency and let the torus start to move upward, our spiral to move upward with the smile. And then take your gaze upward. As you smile, imagine inside behind your eyes, you're slightly looking up towards the pineal gland, your inner eye. And at the inner eye, I want you to imagine that there's this vortex, because there is. It's the top of your central channel where that pineal gland is. It squeezes down to plunk, this small point. And it's a vortex that you can then expand with your next exhale through the vortex around your aura, like you're going out the dolphin hole, blowhole. And imagine your light, your soul goes all the way back around up through your feet. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and take ourselves back to heart space. So bring your awareness, let your eyes relax. And set your intention for today. What is it? We're going to do some really great work on moving anything that needs to move, so that a manifestation or something you're really focused on actualizing into your world, can you go ahead and just set an intention and imagine that it's already happening? So whatever your intention is, it's already is. And again, add your smile to crystallize it and bring about an upward spin, a higher frequency to the vision. And then say thank you. So you're just already thanking for its existence. Maybe you like to do things in threes. So inside, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And we'll open our eyes, let the visions go. Awesome. So raise your hand if you were able to at least visualize or know that there was a vision of that which you were blueprinting, of the wish fulfilled, of something you're actualizing. Was anybody not able to do it at all? No? Like you couldn't think of something, or what happened?
Well, I mean, I was trying to do, I can't, it's very difficult for me to visualize, so
Okay.
I'm working on it.
And did you just at least know that you were seeing it? Like if I say visualize a tree, but you don't see the tree, but you know a tree's there.
Yes.
Cool. That's great. So you did it.
Yeah.
And then were you able to?
Yeah, pretty much the same way.
Yeah. So, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's there.
Mhm.
We don't always have to have the vision come right in. Like sometimes that will pull in and sometimes it doesn't, and that's fine. But you knowing it's there, and especially you facilitating the feeling, which is what crystallizes it, which is why we have a smile, because then it'll literally upload some of those feel-good hormones and allow for those frequencies to crystallize that which you're either clearly seeing or you know it to be there, and it pulls it in. So that's our magnetics, is to embody and bring in with these feelings. How you doing, Justin?
Very well.
You good?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the first thing I wanted to go over is this drawing here that I pulled up on a YouTube I did a long time ago. And I was like, oh, that's a good example. So basically, when we're looking at dark matter, antimatter, and gross matter, and we realize that everything in front of us that we're seeing is essentially like gross matter. It's slowed down light. So all these matters that I just said, dark matter, antimatter, and gross matter, it's all light. It's just different frequencies and vibrations that the light is holding, moving about. And so when we see, like you're looking at me, I have all three of those states happening, but yet you might have the eyes only to see the gross matter. Like you just see my physical self. Some of you can see auras. Anybody can see auras?
Especially against a white wall.
Right? Some of you can actually see, the dark matter and the antimatter. Like all of a sudden you'll see something come in and out of phase. So you'll see my face change, or, you'll see me holding a staff all of a sudden. Whoa, that was really interesting. So this is always happening, but we don't necessarily always realize that. And so one of our biggest things that I love for myself and those that I work with to do is start to notice things like we did last week. Notice things that are behind the things, like that are looking past what you're seeing in the gross matter, so that you really start to open up your spiritual eyes and allow for more to start coming in. So when you are looking for that is not necessarily seen, even when we just did that meditation or that drop in of our wish fulfilled or our intention, it's going to start pulling it into phase. It's just when you line up to the frequency that matches it, that was out of phase, that then brings it into phase. So it's like you're constantly bringing all these particles into different frequency arrangements or different subsets. And so the more you, again, have an intention to see more, you're going to start to see more. So just take more time when you're doing like your morning meditation, if you can sit outside, or in your evening, or anytime you can go and just let yourself drop in for a moment. Like you catch yourself, you're in your work day and you're like rushing, just like, step back a little bit and see if you can start to widen and see more. So this, my stick figure of the Hertz line, which is the Y, which is frequency and vibration, meaning as I go up this ladder, this is me. And let's say I start to rise in frequency, I may literally start to go up this vision or this drawing and be up here as I rise in frequency. If I go low in frequency, I'm going to be down here. So this can also be seen as like our aspects of self, or the ladder we're looking at. What door hole are we coming out of our energy centers? So if you feel like you're like, you know, in the jungle and you're, you know, really like, you know, you're just in this, like, maybe you're in survival, but you're just, you know, you're going through trails, or you're having to be more physically dense. You're hiking or something like that. It's the scene I'm getting. You may literally be coming out of your first, second energy door holes because you need to like really be paying attention to the ground and footing. This also happens when you start to feel lower, or you do feel like you're in survival or fight or flight. You literally do go down in frequency and you come down this Y axis. So just something I want to point out. Now, this line is our timeline, or our parallel nows. So when we move out from time, when we start realizing, wait a minute, if all time or all nows are happening at once, you know, where am I right now? Okay, I'm right here in this now moment, but yet I just closed my eyes and I visioned my, you know, intention actualizing or manifesting. So I was essentially seeing a parallel now that if I would have called time, it would have been the future. And it was a very high frequency because I was meditating and I was looking out my pineal gland. Does that make sense? Okay. So this image, though, what I wanted you to start to realize is that when you are on this line, which is called 0 point, meaning it's at the 0 hertz, it's not high in frequency and it's not low in frequency. It's at a still point. When you are present and in the now and you're in deep meditation, you essentially may feel like you stop breathing. You know, you might feel like, oh my God, I'm like not breathing and I'm okay. So you're at this 0 point, you're at this 0 frequency. And this is also what happens, you know, essentially, of course, there's vibration going on, but coming back, when you are widening your gaze, or you're in the witness, or you're in the presence, this is like you're at 0 hertz and you're in the now. So you're right here, right now, you're in the presence. And if you start to realize that you're literally projecting those 3 types of light, you're projecting the gross matter, the antimatter, and the dark matter all at once. That's what these 3 lines are. So my green-blue line is my, let's say, you know, gross matter. Then I've got my dark matter and my antimatter. So it's starting to realize that as you're sitting here, all that's being projected. And it's just stacking up, showing itself however you see things. So the more you pull back and you hold 0 point and you be in the present and be present, you're going to start to see a lot more. How many of you do morning and evening meditation? Yeah, that's everybody. Or how about you meditate at all? You know, you just kind of sporadic about it. Yeah. How about washing dishes? Do you feel like you're dropping into meditation when you're washing dishes? Some of you.
Chores, yeah.
Chores. I just want, you know.
Do when I'm driving, I kind of do it all the time.
Right.
Lately.
And what makes you feel like you're doing it when you're driving?
Just able to, it's almost like what's happening around me is muscle memory. I'm able to pay attention, but I'm also able to kind of drop in a little. And I even get answers, and I don't know, it usually starts with gratitude, looking at trees or pushing out love to people, you know. But I do it when I'm driving. I don't know if that's safe. I don't know if it's super
Good. Yeah, I mean, because essentially you can be an all-time meditator. And that's what we end up stepping into when we do acknowledge that, wow, I can be present now, every now moment. Yes, there's a aspect of me that's on autopilot, and the subconscious mind knows what it's doing as it's driving this car. But yet I'm able to tap in. And like you said, you know, you're dropping into maybe different assignments of sending blessings, but also you're also able to get answers. So let's do that right now. I just want you to close your eyes. And so first, as we start breathing, I just want you to do it more consciously. So take a few deep breaths, inhale down the channel, exhale up your channel. A few times, inhale down the channel and exhale up. And as you're now exhaling up, I want you to even again take your gaze slightly up towards that vortex at the pineal gland, the top of the torus. And just like we did at the beginning, imagine now that you're going to expand beyond the central channel, beyond your spine. I want you to go out your vortex, out the top of the portal, top of the channel, and expand throughout the space. Good. And you're expanding now, your awareness is expanding beyond your body, beyond into this space. And then beyond this building, I want you just to imagine you take some relaxing breaths, or your breath just might just start go to that more autopilot where you're able to go beyond breath. And just see if you can be aware of the edgeless edge of existence in 360 degrees around you. And then at that 360 degree around you awareness, dropping into the bigger presence beyond time, into all parallel nows, I want you to notice your intention that you originally stated. That thing you've already actualized, it's already existing. I want you to notice where it shows up in the field. Does it feel like it's just like you would normally visualize? Does it feel like it's way off to the left, way behind you? Just notice where it's at. There's no right or wrong. And then I want you to intuit, ask your consciousness, your super intelligence, to show you or tell you or give you any downloads about it. Something that's important for you to know about it. And if you got something, awesome. If you didn't, just know that you put the question out there. So the answer's coming back in its own time. And then ask if you're complete. And don't worry if you need to cough, just let that out. If you're complete, awesome. If not, let your consciousness know, your super intelligence, you'll get back to this. And then I want you let that vision go and just again expand into the bigger presence of yourself, the bigger totality that you are in space. And then I want you to notice, you're going to ask your super intelligence to show you anywhere in your body that has resistance to that. If you get drawn to an area of your body, awesome, we're going to deal with it. If not, I want you to ask, is there any resistance outside your body to that manifestation, that actualization? Again, see if you can acknowledge where it is in the field if it's outside of your body. Just an awareness, your attention will be drawn there. And then with that information of location, now we're asking superintelligence, tell me about what is that resistance? Is it fear? Is it some other emotion? And then last, take a breath, blow some light towards that area. And last, ask for any memory that needs to be acknowledged or known to come forward so that this energy now can shift with awareness. If there's a memory that you can see or know, even if it doesn't see or know yet, I want you just to go ahead and say thank you. And then breathe that memory back into your heart where it can be loved on, integrated. Good. And then we're just going to let that go. We're going to give thanks for this ability to rapidly accelerate anything that needed to clear for our manifestation and actualization. And then go ahead and now consciously breathe back into your body. Hear your breath as you fill back with your breath. Let your body shift or move or anything that needs to do as you're filling back out. And if you feels good, you can also bring your hands to your thymus gland, your chest, your heart button for integration. As you bring your hands to your thymus, the easy button we call it, just again, add that smile in and come back to this here now, this present moment. Again, we'll do a 3, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then if it feels right to you, open your eyes at the right time. Good. And then if there's any one of you that has a question, any questions about that? One of you I heard.
I have a question. What's the significance of where it was? I feel like that's significant.
Yeah. So
Where we noticed it.
in our field, right, we have, let's say this is the field, right? And here we are right now, we're all sitting right here. But yet we have an infinite 360-degree field around us that again has an edgeless edge to it. It goes beyond the beyond. But when we're looking in our field, where was it in your field? We'll get for an
first
example.
I visualized everywhere.
Mhm.
And then when you said see where it is, I was like, well, maybe I guess it started in the front left. Just to the left and very front of me. But then I was initially it was all around.
So
The biggest portion was in the front left.
So you're able to also start to locate where in the field, like let's say to the left is past or parallel nows that were seemingly past. To the lower are lower frequencies. It could have been like lower versions of you or lower understanding. Not that it's bad. It's just, below the heart types of understandings around power struggles, different types of inner child things that were going on, survival mechanisms that were going on, meaning you exited your energy out of these lower areas below this midline. Whereas the higher energies or the higher door holes or the higher frequencies that you may have found it above your heart over here, you can then go, wow, like maybe that was just a higher frequency, or I was exiting out a higher door hole. When I was having that memory lodge itself, or something about that area needed to be acknowledged. So this is also where we find big plasma packets, plasmoids in the field that are holding anchors, keeping you from presence. So if I have so much, when I do my Akashic records, which is essentially what we're always doing when we're looking, Akash meaning ether, sky, the field, space. When we're doing the record, looking for a seemingly parallel now or past or future, we're literally grabbing plasma packets and understanding them that says, oh, you were out here, you're possibly resisting keeping me from that, experiencing that manifestation or actualization of, or my intention that I'm, calling in. Wow, that memory with that emotion and that sense of possible resistance, sometimes we'll call that fear, literally is keeping me from being present and keeping me from literally plasma projecting this light show of that intention. So when we understand in many different ways, we don't have to use that example, but it's a powerful one, because again, you're looking and you're sensing where is this information in the field. And if essentially I am this whole field, which you are, and you located it over here, and then it showed you everywhere. Do you want to share what information you got to be our example?
Sure. I was picturing like I visualized a big building, like it almost looked like a castle kind of a thing, being like the home base for the retreats. And they're just sprinkled out. They were sprinkled out everywhere. Like it spread far and wide, but there was like a central location.
And that's what you located?
Mm-hmm.
And then did you have a memory and a feeling that when we looked deeper?
Yes, that was more a resistance thing to do with money and my father.
Okay, so got it.
I need to, the feeling that you need to earn certain things, that not just accept gifts when they come, sort of a vibe.
And then when the location for that one, was it in your body or in the field?
It was in my lower back.
In your lower back. Okay. And so again, we can see that when we find those places that are literally in the body, this is also essentially your fascia is a mirror of space. Yeah.
So my question to tag on to hers, okay, physically, like, okay, when I would feel it, my lower right back, lower to upper,
Mhm.
but the first time you said, where do you see it? It was in the right. So in the ethers, is the right connected to the body? How is it connected to the body? Like,
So spirit has shown me, like in the Quantum Interstellar book I wrote about, that you basically, the field is the 4 quadrants of the heart. So this is also like the 4 quadrants of the heart, as well as the brain map. So every synapse in the brain is essentially a star. And it's also each of these points out in space. So, did any of you have your head or your heart show up when we looked at where it was in the body? Where was it for you?
Heart.
In your heart. Could you tell like a certain area, now knowing that there might even be a bigger map, just like we've got the ear map and the eye map, and
Pretty much centered.
right in the center. Okay. And then,
Mine was in my head,
and where in your head?
and it was like literally in the middle, I guess, where your actual like pineal gland would be located, but it was this way, and it showed up as like a pointy, for lack of a better word, like a ninja star with more points.
Mm-hmm.
And Archangel Michael came and helped me soften those points, and then it turned into hands on a pottery wheel.
Nice.
Wow. Cool.
So you can start to, again, the more we do these research on ourselves and understanding like, okay, where is this? And you could ask right now, if it was on the right, was it a seemingly future? If it was on the left, was it a seemingly past? If it was down below your heart, was it seemingly a lower frequency? Or if it was above your heart, was it a seemingly higher frequency? So who here got a past memory? 2 of you? Who here got a future memory? 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Who here got a memory, but you don't know, it was like another timeline? You don't really know. Okay. Anyone else get something unique that I didn't say? No. Okay. So when we're finding this info or finding out these locations, whether it's in the body or outside of the body, once we get some understanding, that's when, like I've said before, that's when those photonic light particles, which is your essence, it's just holding information. Once you understand something about it, it can come back through the torus. It can come out of that anchor point and be lodged over out in the field and start to move more fluidly back through your aura that you be, which it brings you back to being a star again, and a sun and a supernova, and a blue dwarf. So did everybody get an understanding? And do you feel like with that understanding, you were able to call that light home? Okay, does anybody have any questions with things I just said? Yeah.
the thing, like with me, it was like part of it was me, but then I felt like that part of it that was me symbolized also with what's going on with everybody else, with the collective. I want to say masses, but like when you said expand, like, okay, this is me, this is what's going on with me, and here's all my little points. And when you expand in the ethers, it was like I was also expanding with everybody here. And then when you expand even further out, it's like we are just, my point is just a reflection of everybody. Everybody's going through this. I don't know if
Yeah,
this makes
right.
sense, but
And all is self, and all is a version of you. And, we come together for divine appointment together here today is 13 of us. And so essentially there probably, we could actually share more and find out these like cross markers that are showing us a bigger story right now of what we just tagged into. So I wanted to ask, a few of you wanted to also share anything else that you got, just so we can get a little bit of a bigger picture of what just happened. Sharon, did you want to share what was here?
I also got solar plexus.
Okay,
Yeah. But I think heart was more involved than solar plexus.
okay. And did you
Pretty much present time.
and did you gather understanding so that it can assist your intention and manifestation actualizing itself?
It felt that way, yes.
Great. Anybody else want to share about it? Like you're just a good storyteller and you want to tell us about it? Like Lonnie?
Mine started off to I don't know, off to the right, and it was a figure. Won't get into details. It's a little scary looking, but it ended up identifying itself as my ego, past, present, and future.
Ooh,
So when you started to talk about like sharing with everyone, I kind of kept all my stuff in my bubble today. And I did bring that image closer and closer. And now that I look at my dad's glasses, it brought me back to the color of that. It's almost like a kind of like a gear or something. We were talking
Yeah.
about gears recently, but it was blue metal and it had, I don't know, maybe 25 or so points on it. And it was just turning and it was so rigid. And I'm like, okay, well, blue, I'm sensing like there's Archangel Michael coming in to help me with this. And it was a really beautiful glowing blue light just coming in and slowly softening all of those points. I'm like, what's happening here? And then I saw my hands and the message was coming in to start being creative again, start using my hands to create. But it was such a pretty slow moving pottery wheel. Like I could feel the cool, like wet clay on my hands. And then snapped out of it.
and do you understand how that it connects to your intention that you first started with?
I do. Yeah, there's been a lot of resistance lately. I've had a lot of resentment towards some people that I've been working with lately too. And it is me having to tell my ego to chill out for a little while because I've really stepped into a I'm better than you kind of feeling with some of the people. Like it's been coming up lately and I know that needs to be addressed. So when that happened, it was like we finally made peace with that.
Good. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else before I go on?
I'll share mine.
Okay, great.
Mine, but it doesn't make any sense. But and maybe I didn't understand the assignment. But so mine it was 2 o'clock, like a clock, so it would be the right, top right quadrant. 2. And when I focused on the 2, it went 2, 3, 4, and then it was like a circle that became like parts of the circle that started to like wiggle and just like have little points on them. But then it looked like the bow and arrow of Sagittarius, if you know that symbol for astrology. So then I saw that, and then I went Sagittarius and like coordinates 2, 3, 4. And then the very next thing, it was like very indigo, blue, purple, and it became the peacock from, the channel peacock, the way that peacock looks. And that's it. So other than me, excited to kind of like write it out and do some kind of research. I don't know where the peacock constellation is in relation to Sagittarius. So I'll look at
to
that.
see where the arrow goes too.
And that's, thank
When
you.
you look up the constellation.
Yes.
Does it make any sense for your intention? Your manifestation, actualization / intention? Does it have any
Well,
connection possibly?
It could, but my intention, I just went straight to the oceans. And that, like earlier today when I saw water, usually I just will stop and appreciate the water and the birds. And this time it was like, I immediately saw it as like a brand new earth, a brand new world, that song from Aladdin. So I had listened to that earlier. But when I saw the water, I went, oh, beautiful and clear and harmonious and rich with substance,
Mm,
things like that. It just kind of, the vision went straight like that and it just didn't stop.
got
And
it.
so unless those colors are related to that, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't get
You're gonna
anything
research
that my
more. You're gonna-
logical mind would like.
Got it.
What were you gonna say? Margie's always really dialed into me for some reason. I don't know if she like unconsciously does it, but a lot of times this happens. Peacock card. I live in a neighborhood full of peacocks, but my astrologer friend pulled a peacock card for me yesterday. I've been channeling Artemis nonstop the last few days, the bow and arrow. So yeah,
Wow, thank you.
it might be Artemis.
Well,
So when we're in these higher gateways, right? Especially because we're meditating together, we're tapping in, we're doing pre-meditation exercise together. We also overlay really easily and can see what each other is seeing. I mean, we're literally, coming together in a semicircle. So you're able to draw some connections, which is important. When we do actually share with each other, we can start to see these things overlapping and then realize, our oneness, our deeper connection that's happening. But when we are doing these higher connection gateway openings, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you're in the higher field and you're going to start to see the one mind.
I do have a question. Do you think it's because we've taken a long Reiki class together and that we're somehow dialed into each other? Because this happens with Margie a lot.
And me too.
Yeah.
But it's also, it could be, and that's what, research question to ask within right now. Is it because of your connection with Reiki?
I feel it's because I definitely allowed her into a space that I wouldn't normally let other people into, whether you knew that or not. Yeah.
So you can find many different layers of how you're connecting. So that we did, a dome class before where we find where other people's mental thought programs are doming over us. And essentially, like I said, in the oneness of things, of course, we're all connected at this higher mind, but yet we may still be quantum entangled with others that we have had intimacy with, whether it be sexual partners or, friendships or partnerships and Reiki classes. So you can pull back, right? And check on that if that feels like it's something that needs to be done. Otherwise, you can also look at the beauty of it and see like, wow, look at this connection. And when you have a direct understanding of how that is connected to your intention that you set, right? For me, even though if you got lost in translation, for me, it was like, okay, I heard have them find their intention that they said at the beginning, look for any kind of resistance in the field that's keeping them from having that. So if you find that you gain understanding about the details of the gear and the blue and the similarities you brought up, awesome. And that's why when we look around at each other, even in the grocery line and you hear people talking in front of you, they're all you. So like when you hear them and they're telling you the answer to your problem that you're thinking in your head, you're like, and it's not like Facebook or some kind of social media that's reading your brainwaves from their technology they have that literally pulls up on the screen, just like quantum mechanics does, the similarity, when it really is this quantum, natural setup that's going on in the field, meaning what you think and what you feel is, and what you're questioning, give it a few moments, your answer will arrive right in front of you because you're projecting the whole light show. Right? We are this projector and we are this reactor from the feelings that we're having that is literally giving this thing shape and form. So it's such a powerful practice to find places that are in resistance, especially when those resistance are from fear, meaning made choices out of fear, from fear, which the majority of this realm, this lower realm existence was set up on basing things off of fear, of survival. I don't know about you, but are you infinite source creator, like projecting light nonstop and you're infinitely abundant and wealthy? Like I am. I'm pretty sure you all are. I didn't know that you had to pay for that. But yet we're set up in a system that we buy into and we play with. We can make light of it and make it fun and be like, well, I'll just project the money that it's going to pay that rent, but that even just paying rent or paying bills or statements or just statements, you essentially are, most of the time, if people didn't understand who they are, why they are, what they are, they would be in fear making that choice. Oh, I gotta make this money and like pay that bill and the light's gonna turn off. So, most of the choices made in this reality have been based off fear. So we have a lot of recoding to do to come back to midline and go, no, sure, I'll play the game that we're just pretending to pay these bills and, I'll make some money for it. And I'll do it with fun, and I'll make that money show up like this and that. But my point is, you want to find places in the field at large and in your body, most importantly, that are holding these literal grippings of choices made from fear. Because a lot of those places are gripping so strongly that you're missing out on this essence. Like your essence, your plasma photonic light is your money, it's your currency. And so if it's sitting there bound up out in, Timbuktu or Antarctica, and you forgot it's even there because you didn't even know to look there, like go find it and call it home by understanding it and understanding what choice you had made out of fear that lodged it over there. And find those fear, false evidence for appearing real. I love that acronym because it's not real, but it's sure is hanging on for dear life like it's real. So you better reel it back in by understanding it and then recode it out of joy with a smile. And now like, this is the way this will happen from this point forward. Meaning you say and feel and think what you want. You bring back heart mind coherence with the light that you just recoiled back to you, back to your Taurus. And that's why if you smile more often, you're going to magnetize it quickly back towards you. You become a magnet when you smile. When you're frowning, you're repelling, and you're literally, most of the reality is kind of steering your ship. So you want to bring it in, right? So any questions so far? I saw a hand when I was looking over here.
At the beginning, when you said picture the infinite at the edge that drops off. So I visualized like almost like a record, not vinyl actually, but it was like that. And I was having a hard time seeing it all the way behind me. And I thought that was interesting.
Right.
So just throwing that out there, like that was interesting that I couldn't quite. I was like, why is that difficult? That's interesting. I've never tried to visualize all the way around me. Maybe next time.
Can you ask why? Can you ask
Turn
why?
around a little. Let's see if that's easier.
Ask if there's any resistance
Yeah.
to that. Is there something that
that's-
needs to be understood back
Yeah.
there?
So,
Can you ask?
oh yeah. Okay. So I mean. Let's see. I feel like it's attached to something that I learned that there's really nothing behind me,
I heard that too.
and that I feel like I can't see it because there isn't anything.
Okay.
It's what I project forward, kind of like the circle with the little slot out of it. You know what I mean? You seen those donuts with the
Mm-hmm.
notch? Not actually donuts, but
Yeah.
stones they sell.
Like, do you feel like as you're walking forward, everything behind you disappears, so there's nothing back there to look at anyway? Because that's the image I just got. Like, you're going forward and everything behind you is gone. It disappears.
Maybe not that extreme to say what's behind me is falling away, but like the idea that I learned that everything energy comes in here and then comes out. I project everything forward.
Mhm.
So directly behind me would be like the vacuum from whence I suck, sort of. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, and in quantum mechanics, it shows that there is nothing behind you. I mean, we're rendering everything right in front of us as we focus and look. So when we close our eyes, everything's gone, and when we open our eyes, everything's here. Unless you put eyes in the back of your head, which you can do, right? But then you're still looking, right? So the ascent, what it is
And what's
it's the
behind you the other way.
observing that you're doing, whether you're doing with your inner intelligence, your inner abilities. Okay. So when we find that fear, we want to find what's deeper. Is there any deeper emotions in there? Okay. So if you find these places in the field, you want to dislodge those emotions. You want to get them to release and relax. And typically that's going to need to have some understanding. Like when we understand, meaning like you could ask your consciousness, why am I being shown this? Why did it happen? Why did my mother do that? You know, whatever the why, you can get what was going on. You know, once you get that understanding, you can go, oh, wow. Okay. That will allow that emotion to start to shift through the understanding. Doesn't mean that that you have to be like all peace, love, dove about it and like, okay, well, I understand and I'm not angry anymore. And I, you know, not going to have to process that. You're still going to, yes, want to process it, meaning feel the feeling and let it move, right? It is the resistance of it and the literal anchoring of it through and the unconscious by letting it stay in the field or in your body, unconscious about it being there, that keeps you from really being super stellar and present and super bright. Again, you can still be bright and have all these memories out in the field, but it's going to give you more of your power back, more of your light, so that when you do feel heart and mind coherence about something you're working forward to bring forward, it has more power to arrive here. And if we're dealing with body healing, it's going to get your body back to its superstellar quantumhood that can literally come to an instant healing. So these places that take a long time for so-called healing or for it to jump into back to its perfection, because it's only the mind truly and these deep wound up emotions that are keeping things from being into that wholeness state. It's a dream. We're in this dream. And in that dream, something has still stuck there if you're still dealing with something. And if you're dealing with a lot of different things and you could be believing in aging. You know, it could be like, well, this is the way the aging process is. And essentially, if that's what you believe, then that's what is. But if you want to do some restructuring of beliefs, you're going to find that you can look in the mirror and be like, what just happened? Wow, I just restructured. Because you dislodge just packets of huge amounts of plasma photonic light that all of a sudden is taking on a new belief system that can come in and then project into back into this, the eternal existence of how the avatar wants to be at that stellar point. Justin, how's it going?
Very good.
How did you do?
On mine,
Yeah.
it was on the top right. I don't know what exactly it was. It was like plants or something.
Okay. Did it make sense towards your intention at all?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us? You don't have to, but do you want to tell us?
No, not really.
Okay.
That was cool.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
That was cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're sweating now.
It's okay. And so when the sweat happens, just take a deep breath. That means, again, something yet again is moving, and we want the movement. We want it to flow. Because we're calling again that we're literally, the sweat is the transfiguring, the vibrating of the light particles so that they can lift off and come back towards midline. Gives us more power. Now, sometimes that sweat has a thought connected to it. And sometimes that thought can be like something, a lower thought or a like uncomfortable thought. And so being aware of the bathroom dances, you go through there, go the midline there. Yep. That's
Sorry, guys.
it's okay.
Sorry.
You want to be aware of these thoughts. And when we start to notice what thoughts we no longer want to think, it is also good practice to start to recode some new thoughts that are opposite of that to help us so that we can stay into this 0 point, this balance more often, more frequently, which is also why we love having a positive phrase in our back pocket that we can say for life. You know, God is love, light, and understanding is mine. And it's something I can jump into real quick. Did you pick one the other day?
I'm capable of overcoming challenges always.
Always. Good job. And you can even upgrade our things that we're saying to ourselves. If you notice even that your positive affirmation even has some words in it that could be even mo better, like, what's the opposite of challenge?
Opportunities.
Opportunities. So you could even get rid of the word challenges out of it altogether and focus on opportunities. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the thought that then it draws like a magnet more of those things to occur, even though it's helpful because it's helping you lift by saying that you're powerful and that you can overcome these challenges. We may want to be like, what would be something yummy that could be?
I step easily into new situations with comfort.
Yeah. Right? Just think about it. Feel into that.
Just to add on that, because capable was a word, one of the early words that I started with. Then I started adding whatever the letter was, so capable. And then one day I went, I'm going to just add a couple more adjectives to my sentences.
Yeah.
And I would just pick the same letter. So like now I go with confident, capable, and creative. So just to share that with people. Instead of coming
That's
up
fun. Have a
with 10
letter.
different sentences, you can simply, just insert a couple more words.
Yeah. Right? Like, make it more luscious. Okay, so if your shoes are off, I want you to take, if you can get your foot up. Can everybody get their foot up? So your wellspring point is your kidney point, and that's the very middle of your foot. Okay. That point on your foot is typically the, if there is any fear stored in your body, it's connected to the kidney meridian, which is this endpoint, the wellspring. And so just notice as you press on one of your foot at that point, if it's tender. And then I want you to, whatever tender spot you can find, just close your eyes and just think of something you want to let go of around any fear that you've ever held in any part of your life that you know is still possibly hanging out. And just rub that and like almost like sweep it out the top of your foot. Like you're just moving that fear. Good. And then come back to that spot. See if you notice any less tenderness. If it's still tender, do it again. It might be another fear. Just move that out. You're letting that go. No longer need that. No, thank you. Use your exhale. Good. And then come back and just massage that point again. See if it's even less tender. And then switch feet. And so we do both. And take the other wellspring and just notice, are you done with that one fear, memory, thought? Is it all done or is it also in that foot? It could be gone altogether. It might be something else. So you can be visual about this, auditory, like asking your conscious, or anything I need to let go of, any other fear or the same one is need to go out of this foot as well.
It's like acupressure.
Yeah, so your acupressure, pushing into it, and then just sweep it out the top of your foot. Let it go. You're consciously, super consciously saying, I no longer need that energy in my foot. And then come back to the spot again. Just make sure that it feels less tender. Good. And then come to the edge of your chair. You're going to put both feet down, put your hands on your knees. And I just want you to tap your feet. And close your eyes and think of the opposite of that fear. Whatever the opposite is, like capable, that word, confident, capable, and say, I am to yourself. I'm going to say to myself, I am confident. I am capable. Waking up the wellspring with new thoughts, new awesomeness. And then relax. Take a few deep breaths into your heart. And then out your feet. Into your heart. And out your feet. One more time. Into your heart and out your feet. And then one more time, again, I am If you had another thing come up and you want to add a new I am statement, the opposite of whatever that fear you let go of. Wealthy or whatever the topic is. Good, and relax. And then again, one more breath pattern through the heart, in and then out the feet. In through the heart and out the feet. Good, one more time. And then just add a vision, an awesome vision of you capable, or whatever that statement is, like a vision of you, or you just full of light, or a vision of the other aspects of that topic. Smile. Good. And then come back to eyes open. Just relax in your chair. So, how was that? Pretty good?
Tingly.
Tingly on your feet or your body? Everywhere? Yeah. Does anybody feel like you need help with that, or any kind of question around it? Good. So that can be done all over the body, right? Like it doesn't just have to be the kidney wellspring where fear hangs out, because it could be anywhere. And it's a great book by Louise Hay, Heal Thy Body, which is a great body map. But you can definitely, just feel around your body. If things aren't happening in your life that you know that you want to be happening, a lot of times in all these exercises we're doing, we want to find the places it's lodged. Getting body work. We got Lonnie, Kim, massage therapists, highly suggest getting body work as much as possible. I do cranial sacral, myofascial release, but you have the most amazing hands for your own body, and doing that daily to go ahead and find those tender spots and ask what's there, what's lodged in there, and massage it so that all this meridian system, all these pathways, these energetic pathways that run from your organ out your fingers and your toes, mainly your tailbone, your head, those meridian patterns, they're streams of energy. They are feeding this projection, this hologram experience. So we want everything to be flowing. And if things aren't flowing, meaning things that you're literally working on manifesting, then there's probably something not flowing inside. And so we want to get it flowing. This is also why we are a big proponent of cleanses. Periodic seasonal cleanses is really helpful for you. Okay. The next thing I wanted to talk about is numbers. Not necessarily numerology, although that can definitely probably tie in here. But when you're looking in the field for something and it's too big, like it's in your unconscious, subconscious, and it's just overwhelming for you to actually digest. Meaning a couple of things can happen. One is you're asking your consciousness questions, you're not getting anything. It's nothing's coming. Or, it's something that's pretty deep. It's something happened in your childhood and you're just not ready to look at that. And then the third one is it's mass mind. I mean, it's so big, it's beyond you. I want you to start using more number questions, like how many things are connected? What's the number I need to know? We're going to do an exercise in a minute. But when I started, right around COVID times, I started getting these massive numbers coming to me, billions and trillions. And they would just fire off in the middle of the night when I wake up throughout the day. And if I didn't call them out, I would feel really disoriented. So I just give you this example because maybe it will speak to some of you in some point of your life if this is helpful. But these big numbers, I don't necessarily need to know exactly, if I'm getting 4 billion to, this long number, I don't need to actually know all of what's going on with that. But yet by me being willing to at least acknowledge it and call it out to be cleared, it will be done. Because your body computer, what was that?
Pretty.
Oh, okay. It was balloons?
Silver
Oh,
balloons.
celebrating us. Because your body computer, that is your this body is a biocomputer, and then all these parts that we start to learn about and understand more than even the scientific or biological terms that come in like a, medical class. When we start to understand it in more of quantum mechanics, we start to realize it's waiting for instructions. And this is why we start to be more stellar with our thoughts and our feelings, and we become more of a meditator more often so that we can be the awareness again. You are the awareness, but you're at that point of focus. You are the awareness, paying attention to the thoughts, paying attention to the feelings, and then placing the thoughts and placing the feelings, putting them in place so that you're in more of reality creation mode and not just experiencing the reality because it's on autopilot from the subconscious mind that's memorized everything under the sun through all time and existence and projecting it like a light show in front of you to experience. So when these numbers, especially big numbers, are lodging you, keeping you, from like being present and feeling really balanced and good, once you just call them out, sometimes without even understanding exactly what's connecting to them, you will feel better. So big numbers, we're going to do an assignment in a minute to see if there's any big numbers for you to clear. Now, you may get something connected to it. You may muscle test or ask inside, is it an entity? Is it a thought form entity? Is it everybody thinking about the inauguration? You might have some logical things or some gut feeling things, or you literally hear some information that it's connected to. If you're somewhat impatient like me when I'm doing these practices, because I can see how much wants to be digested when I come sit down to do something like this, I'm probing questions. I'm like, okay, logically, the inauguration's happening on Monday. Is something connected to that? No. Is it my neighbors? Yes. Blah, 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 blah. So I'll start asking these types of things that I can typically just think of. Is it one of these things? Yes or no? Otherwise, for those of you who have all the time in the world, don't have a child yelling across the house for you to do something. You would just sit there in an hour-long meditation and you're just getting like information. It's coming as it comes, right? You spread out into the field, to the edgeless edge of the field. You get really big. You might see the numbers come in front of you, like a big, long number. You might hear it and you might get what is connected to it. Once you get what it is, you can just ask for it to clear. You may start to get additional words that need to be said. Meaning sometimes I'll say, can it clear? No. Dissolve? No. Dismantle? Yes. It's like sometimes I have to actually have the right code command word so that it can go ahead and integrate and be dealt with. So just play with that and be realizing that you are in your own training suit by finding those exact words that want to be said. So those are the big numbers. Does that make sense? The smaller numbers, you could say, you just intuit, is there, how many people are connected to this? 10. Do I need to know them? No. Again, we're using the numbers for simplifying and getting more of a clean, clearing and adjustment within ourselves so that we have more power in our reality creation. So there may be some smaller numbers that we're going to look for in a minute. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any questions or aha moments that you're having yet?
So like, instead of seeing the numbers this way, what if you see them like this? Just like, I always saw like they were just downloads, like
Yeah.
on green.
Yep.
Just all numbers.
Like the
and-
Matrix.
Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're just, so.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up. You did that in the dream last night, except you had a green stream of aventurine. The green crystal, light green.
Mhm.
I'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
So, yes.
Is there a connection to, because words come to me often, just out of the blue, and I might be sleeping and all of a sudden a word will come up. Is there a correlation with the number of letters to that word?
For sure. I'm sure. I mean, if you ask, I would say, you know,
As you asked, there probably
oh my
is.
gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. Right? Like, there's so much. So if the numbers come in and they're just as downloads, they're integrations, they're showing you the matrix. They're showing you the patterns of how reality is literally being stacked up and created. Right? You may literally just be receiving the numbers. And then on a side note to that, you may be getting healing numbers. There's some like Ravorsky. What is that? It starts with an R. It's kind of like Polish type guy, his last name. But he has these healing numbers.
Rabovi.
That's what it is. You may get like these healing numbers or these activation codes. I know, like, anyways, names escaping me again. You may just be seeing that as an activation. And so that could be something else we're going to ask in our assignment. Did you have some? Yes.
I see numbers often. They just pop into my head and I will Google the numbers to see what the numbers mean.
Great. So then there it is. We're topping it off with the cherry with numerology, like understanding numerology, understanding what the number means, what it means to you, what consciousness is trying to deliver to you. Like even realizing every number you're seeing on houses, on buildings, that is all essentially coding like the matrix, literally, you know, falling in those green numbers. It also has, you know, you build out structure in that way. When Spirit woke me up in the middle of the night, told me to buy some land at Rainbow Springs and Dunellen, that I was supposed to buy this land and that it was just going to be, there's all these other parcels that were going to be for other people who want to do a permaculture side space. The lot number is my birthday, you know, on Lovely Lane. You know, I'm just having fun. We're having fun here, projecting out the matrix. And we will sometimes use the numbers. The numbers may mean, you know, like it may be significant to a cycle or a birthday or, you know, your father's favorite number. But just realize it's all trying to speak to you and give you message. But the numbers are really helpful for simplifying and being really clear cut with what needs to be adjusted. Okay. All right, let's do this last assignment. Maybe we can get one more. So make sure you're comfortable. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to deepen our breath. We're already in this perfected field of light that we be. So turn on that light. Turn on your soul's light. Good. Our soul light is turning on with 1. With 2, I want you to imagine a screen out in front of you. That screen may be green, it may be white, maybe like a blackboard. Notice a screen in front of you on 2. Good. On 3, I want you to go ahead and let a number or a series of numbers or something to do with the numbers assignment to show up. You may need to like kind of ask consciousness a few questions like, is that number? You may hear it if it's not showing up on the screen. Go ahead and dial into the number. And confirm, did you get the number? And then ask your superintelligence, what do you need to know about this number? Do you need to know anything? If you do need to know something, just receive it. Let consciousness know I'm ready to receive. If you need to whittle it out like you think you got the answer and you need to like double check, you could ask consciousness, is this what you're telling me? And then go ahead and work on a command word. What do you need to do with this? Does it just need to be integrated, cleared? There's many command words. Really receive that and whittle it out by asking some questions to help you. Disconnected? Is it cords? Is it domes around you? Use your breath. Remember, your breath will help you. And whatever command word you get, or if you need to state the number with the command word, go ahead and work with that and then ask if you're complete. And as you're coming to a completion, even if it feels like it's still working, breathe your light back in. You should be gathering more light wants to come home. More photonic soul essence will come home. As well as sometimes soul essence of others wants to return. So return to source or sender. Any essence that doesn't belong to you or need to be in this room or in your field at large. And then let that dissolve, relax, and release from your awareness and come back to midline. If you want to touch your heart center, we're going to do one more. But let's just come back to 0 point. And then relax your hands in a hand mudra, or if it likes to stay where it's at, that's great, but just be conscious with your hands. And once more, again, we're going to go ahead and ask for 1, your light illumination of your soul light to brighten. For 2, the screen to arrive again. And for 3, a number to come onto the screen or into your awareness. Same practice as before. What is the number? Confirm if you're correct on the number. What do you need to know about it? It may be lifetimes. What do you need to do with it? What is the command word that will help with this number? Integrating, upgrading, clearing, dissolving, dismantling, disconnecting. Do you need to call out the number at all? Sometimes you may need to say the number if it's a big number in sections, like in thousands or hundreds of thousands at a time. If you need to call out the number in any way, shape, or fashion so that the command word can really be complete, just do your best to get instruction and complete that. And then draw your essence back in magnetically with your heart. Smile, bring all your essence back that's been retrieved from that experience, and return to sender, return to source, anything that does not need to be right back into this star bright light that you be for eternity. And then we'll open our eyes with any shares, because our shares on this one especially will really help with the education for each other. Anyone?
Hello. So initially I saw 555, which for me personally means huge changes up ahead.
Me too.
Thought it was kind of a generic message, but then as you were speaking, it dialed me back up to Margie, and I forgot to tell you that 234 has been my number for a long time. When I bought my house, that's where the phrase that I questioned it. When my dog died, I bought a one-way ticket to Arizona, disappeared for a month. My hotel room was 234. So the 555 was symbolic of, yes, huge changes are up ahead, but 234 are some of the most pivotal points in my life where some like the most profound transformations happened. So it tied back into you again. Yeah. So the word that came for me, I'd rather not share, but everything does make sense now.
And how do you feel?
I feel like I have a little more clarity,
Okay.
but I was not expecting today, actually.
Okay, good.
I was not prepared to come back to soul school, but I really wanted Larson to experience this. And I feel like selfishly, I'm like, yeah. So thank you guys.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
I got 432. It's really funny. like clear as day. As soon as you said that, I don't know if you were watching. I was like, I turned my head like, wow, okay. It was 432. I felt like I picked it apart right away. Maybe I'll find 4 people, then 3 people, then 2 people. Maybe it's to equal 9. I think it will involve more playing with, but it was very clear. And then when you brought us back to think of it again, and I was like, for a split second, I was like, what was it? And it was right there again, like I could see it crystal clear. Really
Wow.
something.
Did it have a command word?
No, I didn't.
No?
I wasn't.
Okay.
That was very interesting.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sure.
1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4 is a time that I see on the clock often. 1, 2, 3, 4, whether it be at night or during the day. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12:34. So what came to me is it's time to unify.
Yeah.
That's my message.
Awesome. Thank you. And today I looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, and I texted it to Samantha when it came.
Awesome.
Fun. Thank you. Time to unify. Thank you for the message. Yeah, Kim.
I first got 642, and I didn't get a word for that, but the 6 stood out more for the month. And then I didn't know what the 42 was, but I started to think of like a time. But I don't know about that. And then when you brought us back to think of another number, I got 342. And then I actually got a word for that. At first it came up Army, but as soon as I heard Army, it went to March. And then I started to think of the month March. So I don't know if March and June have something to do, and why what's the 42? I don't know.
Okay. And marching,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Army march.
I saw 6 and 8, and in the army, that was my job. That was a 68 kilo.
Okay.
What is that?
What does that do?
It's a lab tech.
A lab
What is it?
tech.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Neat.
Anyone else? Because we're getting a bigger picture.
I did think that the 9, if it was completion
Mhm.
for some reason. 432 adding up to 9.
I got the number 8, and at the end of what you were saying, you said infinity. And that's exactly what I thought of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Medette? Did you were in my dream with the big green aventurine matrix symbol?
Are you gonna tell us about the dream?
I was should I tell you? I'll go ahead first. What did you get?
So, the first one was 321, and I kept seeing, you know, how like a countdown, you know, like just before a movie starts, you know, that it's going 3, 2, 1, and then
Oh, yeah.
just like when before the space shuttle goes up, 3, 2, 1, and then blast off, and the space shuttle went up. And then I'm under the water somewhere, and again in the submarine, 3, 2, 1 with the thing. And then all of a sudden it's just like a whale coming up in the ocean, out of the ocean, and then it's like Aphrodite coming out of the ocean. It's so interesting because my friend that just passed, one of the things that they sent me was her bracelet, which is Aphrodite.
Oh.
And I was, wow. And then I heard, "No, you're beauty." So that was the first part. And then the second part was the 1111111, and 1111 is like my number. So every time I turn on it, whatever, I look at the clock or turn on it, whatever. And then again, it started going into vertical with 110010, and I got like, okay, you're being upgraded. I don't know if you guys ever watched Star Trek, but in The Next Generation, they had an episode where there's a binary system, and these they're upgrading the computers, but
Yes.
I don't know if you ever saw that, but anyway, so everybody else is kind of being kept busy so they can just upgrade everything.
Yes.
And that's what I heard, is like, you're being upgraded.
Yes.
We're going from a binary system to
A
whatever it
wholeness,
is we're going
a
to.
wholeness, to be able to see the whole field at once. Which is, it's like, you know, if this is a 0 and this is a 1, you know, when you're just in duality, you're focused only on the 0, you're focused on the 1. But when you're able to be in midline, you know, midpoint and see all of it at once, you can see that the positive things are actually holding a negative point and negative are holding a positive, and that all of this is all numbers, essentially, a binary system of numbers printout. And so when we get bigger and wider and we're able to hold presence and witness, we can actually start to see that, which is what we're upgrading into.
So that's like, okay, so like I would see the 0 and the 1 like vertical, but see before what I was saying, when I see the numbers, I just see different numbers, but they're not in order. They're all different numbers, 1, 3, 2, whatever, 0. They're like all over, and that's kind of like what you just explained.
Yeah, you're seeing the bigger picture. Marcin, how'd you do?
I got 0.
Ooh.
And then like a lot of darkness, and everything shut down. And then balance was the next thing. So I gotta still stay balanced because I'm going through a lot in life right now. So basically very simple. And my past experience, everything, you know, from the before thing. I looked outside the window. My point was like, you see the little butterfly, and then there's like a light. That's exactly where I saw it. So in relation to this, my point was right here. So it means it's forward, and I felt it in my stomach. So fearful, it's coming for new beginnings.
Wow, powerful. Thank you. And you get the bigger, you got a big message. Yeah, good.
But the whole class is coming into one. Just like our ego just coming up.
Yeah.
So everything happens for a reason. And
yes.
she didn't want it to come maybe today, but you know, just I'm starting to kind of get the point.
Yeah.
This is for him today, but yeah.
For all of us.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
I keep thinking about last week, and this ties into this about seeing beyond
Yes.
what something is. That's constantly blowing my mind nonstop every day.
Okay. Ask within let's do a couple questions on that. So just tune in, try to get some answers ready. Address your consciousness however you do. You're talking to your soul, your higher self, whatever it is. Why are we really here in this room? Just try to get an answer. Let it come. What's really beneath this building? What is our bigger assignment we came here to do today? And then any last message, just let it come to you. Oh, wait, one more. What is your house really? Your house is where you stay. Good. And then open your eyes when you feel ready. I know that was 4 different things. If there's something significant that stood out, anybody want to share?
Well, when you mentioned house, it went back to my childhood home.
Okay.
And then I was like, no, wait a minute, the house that I'm in right now.
So that's your childhood home. Right? So everything's location is non-location. So houses are typically holding house codes for all the houses you've ever been in. And their location is for everything. Like you can make rooms. I mean, they kept telling me that room was gonna be an Airbnb over and over again. I'm like, should I get a bed? You know? And then the other day they told me, no, that we were just telling you that because you're gonna make the Crystal Beach house an Airbnb. And I'm like, oh, they said we just needed you to hold that position right there. So like, you know, things overlap and overlay because there is no location, there is no distance, there is no form. We just memorize it to be so for fun and to make sense of what's happening here. We memorize it so it's comfortable and you don't feel disoriented. But everything essentially is overlapped. Anyone else? Any codes about what are we really doing here? Anybody got that one?
I feel like we're tying each other together for some sort of ground crew situation. I
Okay,
don't know.
ground
When you asked
crew.
what was here and what was under here, I started laughing. So I was like, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
It was white.
Yeah.
nothing.
My
Like,
house
it
is like
was
a
open.
spaceship.
Yeah.
Jacqueline, what'd you get?
Right now, there
There's
is,
yeah,
Nothing.
nothing, yeah.
right now, there is nothing, but there is gonna be a foundation, so we're building something new on top of all of that, that's what I got.
Yes.
All
I just
right.
got chills when you said that. Anyone else? Nuggets, gold? Theodora?
Oh, we started all over again with the house. The house is the house is the house, and it's streaming codes of consciousness, and we're not doing anything about it but listening.
Yeah.
And that's what these people are doing and what we're doing. We're just listening. Yes. Streaming codes of consciousness, every one of us, and we're blending together. This isn't a polarity system anymore. This is a oneness system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chills
Here
again.
we are.
That's really beautiful.
Woo!
At the beginning, when you said to visualize blue light, when we opened, I visualized every single person having a different shade of blue based on their aspects, and it all going up and going all the way up like a big vortex. Whoever said that earlier, of blue light just going straight up.
Yeah. Matthew, how you doing?
Yeah.
Did we put you out? No? Sleeping, I mean? Deep. Justin, anything?
On the
Numbers?
numbers, I got 541, and it was evolution, and then I got 392, and I don't know what that.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
392 equals how many people are here? 13, right?
Yeah, 13.
Also, if you like to play with numbers, so he said 541. And so you can add the 4 and the 1 and get a 5, so 55.
Mm.
So you can get a double strength snap, a chain, also 55, a clear present signal that it's a go.
Mm.
Wow, we've gotten all these 3, 2, 1s and moving in. Interesting.
Okay, let's can we do a circle to complete? And we're just gonna stream the numbers. So if it was left up to me, I'd get right down to it. So left palm up, right palm down. And you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but if you're guided, great. So let's smile. And just we're gonna take 3 breaths, and as you breathe, I want you to breathe in stream of colored light. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Imagine you're just really getting your light on. And then the second part is in a 3-part. The second part is I want you to go ahead and imagine zeros and ones streaming. Just stream the zeros and ones for the new earth, grounding heaven to earth, full unity, full transparency, full love. Anyone want to add any word in? Just let's add out loud any word.
I feel like the 0 and 1 4 is 5.
5. Okay, then we'll do 3 ohms to complete. Inhale. Second. And third one, true identity. Thank you.
Yay.
Okay. May we enjoy the rest of our day.
Can we do our colors?
Yeah, I got periwinkle,
I got azure.
azure. What color did you have?
I
You didn't see a color. Anybody else see a color? Purple. Violet. White.
Seafoam green.
Seafoam green.
I'm trying to do sparkles.
Rainbow.
It's like sparkles of every color.
I got blue.
Blue. Lots of blues.
You said shades of blue, so that was, and then I was like, azure, I have to go look at that.
Bye.